Hey guys, so testing the Xperia 1 Pro on the 24mm lens because it has the best dynamic range. As you can see, at least I got some kind of blue. It is a blue sky and 10:20 in the morning. Yeah, the clouds are washed out, even with auto exposure set to negative 0.25. But I guess if you hold it out this far, it's perfect. Well, I don't prefer the 24mm, so let me switch over to the 16. Alright, back to the 24. You know what? To my eyes, it looks exactly the same with the dynamic range. Let me switch back to 16, it's much easier. And yeah, I lost a lot of dynamic range. Also, you have to stop recording to change the lens. And the skies are washed out. Great. But this is more comfortable than holding it all the way this way for the 24mm lens to work. You know what, let me switch back to the 24mm. We do want to get that perfect blue skies. And I have to stop recording. Okay, back to the 16. Backlit. I'm walking to the local waterfront, which is basically Costco. Monday, June 18th, day off. Yes, thank you very much. Just finished some laundry. What is that? 2 hours of laundry with the day off. And that's the construction of the local high school. People dumping garbage, construction garbage from the top. I think it's a 6-story. Yeah, that's always fun to hear. Well, the eye track works very well, even with my sunglasses. I did get the ZV-1F, right? And also the ZV-1. And recently the Mark II came out. Now, I would think this is a much better buy than either of those cameras. Definitely the ZV-1F. I had to return it within a couple of days. It wasn't good. I don't want to say it's bad. Maybe it's good for some people, but definitely not good for me. This, on the other hand, is a much better system if you're able to get it with the vlog setup from Best Buy. Right now, it's June 19th, 2023. It's on sale for $9.99 brand new with the vlog monitor. It does help, but I do like the dynamic range. As you can see, skies are blue. What a good summer day. Well, I'm not going into Costco. That's a nightmare. Always has been a nightmare. Now I guess they require you to ID when you enter and when you go to the checkout. It's very weird. They say, and then you have to keep asking them, what? 3 times, 4 times. You're gonna ask them, what are you asking for? But I think it's much better than what it used to be before. Because even at the self-checkout lines, I think people were starting fights, people were skipping lines, coming out of nowhere, running into it. It was a mess. I preferred this better, but at least if you're going to ask for an ID, ask it slower, because I don't know what kind of ID you're asking for. Are you asking for my ID, the member card, or both? Confirm. I think the day before I was in there, I had to ask this guy at the line, what was he asking for? This is my first time there when they started asking these things, so no idea. The guy didn't even slow down. He repeated the same thing so fast, couldn't understand a word. And then he took a good look at the ID and my face. Oh, okay, that's you. Okay, great. So you have to go through that now in Costco, along with the other shenanigans that goes along over there. All right. So, enough ranting about Costco. Yes, the ZV-1F versus the ZV-1 versus this or any Xperia camera, because the 1-inch sensor is really not a 1-inch sensor, so you can't really use it, but it is a tiny bit better in low light. I have tested it yesterday, and yeah, it is a tiny bit better than the iPhone if you use it in manual mode. I haven't tried it in auto. No idea how that works out. What else? Yes, one more advantage of this thing is that it's a modem. Now I have a T-Mobile SIM card in here, and I have live streamed a couple of the recent videos that I posted using this as an external monitor to the ZV-1, ZVE1, ZVE1, what else? ZVE1, the G86, the Lumix S5 Mark II, and also the Canon R6, Canon R6. So those are the systems that I use. The Canon R6 gives me the Canon colors without having to purchase the R5. Right? R5 is still a little bit better, but it's 2 years old. It does have that 30-minute cord limit, and it doesn't allow you to. Oh, I like this park. I'll show you guys. Yeah, it's a little walk around. I guess there's construction going on. There used to be barbecues on this side. Maybe you can see it. Oh yeah, there we go. So there's a barbecue. Well, it's 11 in the morning. I don't think they're gonna do barbecue right now. But yeah, it's an option. Also, the waterfront has great views. Unfortunately, it's right next to Costco, so you get a lot of traffic. People trying to go in and out of Costco. Costco is In New York City, at least, my experience has been very stressful. But you get to enjoy views like this in Astoria and Broadway. Yes, going back to the review of this phone. The live streaming capabilities are pretty good, but the apps, the Sony apps, Video Pro, and the Video Monitor, the problem with those are that if you sign into YouTube, right? You sign on to YouTube. Let me show you the view. Hopefully it's catching a dynamic range, not sure. Yeah, so if you do sign on to YouTube, it's gonna catch the default account. And the problem with that is that there's a separation between the account that is associated with your Gmail and also the account, the branding account that you might use. I don't know if that was a problem 2 years ago when this thing came out, but Sony has not updated the app as of yet. Because every time I go to log on, it logs on to the default account, which is not associated with the YouTube account. And then the problem becomes you cannot stream with an account that does not have YouTube associated with it. And I've tried multiple times. I've tried updating the apps, but even then, remove the account, re-added the account, and even then, there is an issue. Okay, so I'm not front lit. The dynamic range on this is much better when I go front lit, I guess. That's good. So I did look these things up on YouTube, but no one mentions how hard it is to start or stream with YouTube on this platform. Now, the only way I've been able to get this thing to work with the YouTube account that I do have is RTMP. I think I'm pronouncing it right, RTMP. Now, RTMP does work, right? It's not wonders, it's a backup, but it does work sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the problem is that you use an RTM key, but then YouTube defaults this to unlisted or private stream. The problem with that is that if you're streaming, you have to have another device with you in your pocket to check if you're actually alive or not. Now, I don't know if it's a problem with people that have 1,000 views and above, but this has been a constant anxiety point for me when I do live stream. Yeah, I love this place, especially in the mornings. Dynamic range is pretty good. So if it is like this, I don't mind this one. So I don't think Sony will be fixing those apps anytime soon, because this phone did release almost 2 years ago, and it hasn't been fixed. But if you do live stream on the YouTube app, and if you hook up a camera using an HDMI capture card with a USB-C plug, it does recognize it as a third camera. right? But the problem there also is that the image is mirrored. Not only that, you have to position the phone in only one direction or one orientation. Let me just clarify. So if you don't put it in an orientation that YouTube wants it to be, the problem is your image will be upside down, inversed. Before the purchase of this, I did try out the app Camera 5 Live. Now that works with almost any, well, I don't know any, but at least the cheapest Android phone that I have used with 5G, which is the OnePlus N200 Nord. I haven't used that phone that often, but even with this phone and T-Mobile connected, live streaming does drop frames, and it's an issue. I guess it's a problem with the GH5 too, GH5 Mark II, which I did use with wireless capability, wireless streaming capability. It wasn't great. I would use my phone, my regular phone, as a hotspot, connect the camera using Wi-Fi. And once using Wi-Fi, it would connect. But then in scenarios, my second live stream was in Rockefeller Square during the Christmas lighting last year. And it didn't work that well. You lose connection. I lost connection immediately. 5 seconds into the stream, boom. Nothing happening, no recording, nothing at all. But with Camera 5, with Axon Simo, I think that's what it's called. That is for the iPhone. It's a little bit more cumbersome. And this phone too, you can use the HDMI capture card to stream and record at the same time. Yesterday I was streaming a block party at Court Square, Long Island, right? Yeah, block party, Court Square. The streaming, I come back home, on my computer, it did say that it recorded 5 minutes of stream, right? I said, okay, just like any other stream, it'll record, and it'll go to archives. But the problem is that it didn't go to archives. I don't know what happened, but can't find the stream. Well, thank God on the G6 I can record, log, and do an output with a LUT to an external monitor, which I have been using this Xperia as. That's the ferry. It's pretty cool. It used to be, I think, $275. Now it's up to $4. So you can buy the 10 ticket pack to get the all price. But again, then you have to use the 10 tickets right away. Well, within 90 days, I think. Well, what a lovely summer morning, I'd say. Yeah, streaming. It's really, it's not optimized at this point. You have to use so many gadgets, so many things to get it to work. And especially with the Xperia, with the apps not updated for branding accounts associated with your default account, it won't work. It'll fail to acquire the account that you want to stream on. And then you have to use RTMP, if I'm getting it right, RTMP, I think that's what it is, to bypass that, and it's always not reliable. It's always a problem. Also, not forgetting, even though this phone is 5G, I don't know if it's T-Mobile or the phone itself. I don't think it's a phone, but it's T-Mobile and the congestion you find in the city. You're not able to stream at least in 10 megabits per second to do a 1080p live stream. You have to use a Wi-Fi network to have reliable, crisp, good enough image coming out of your camera. So live streaming is not there yet. Maybe 5 years from now. But if you do want something that works better than a ZV-1F or a ZV-1, you can definitely try this, the Xperia Pro I, or the new upcoming Xperia 1.5, right? Those are good cameras, but they lack the capabilities of live streaming and doing other things that this phone is able to do, which is basically be in your pocket all the time. Another gripe, the vlog monitor. It comes with a very stiff USB-C cable, right? It's very stiff. I understand that you have to supply power and data to the monitor at the same time, but it feels as if it's going to damage the port in the long run. Sometimes I struggle to put the USB-C port in without it bending slightly. Even now, as I can see, it's bent. I don't know if it's an engineering issue, or maybe Sony has a concern that if it gets a lighter flexible cable, it's going to be a problem. But this is too rigid for it to work. No, not for it to work, but to feel comfortable using it all day, every day. The battery life, well, I started at 80%. It says 20 minutes, and it's down to 60. So I guess you can do 100 minutes of this. Yeah, I wouldn't expect much. And there comes the ferry. Let's go around, catch the ferry. Well, not catch, get on the ferry, but you can record it. Yeah. The dynamic range when you're facing the sun, when you're front lit, is much better. Shows up the blue. Your face is lit by the sun, and the image is pretty good. The other upside for this type of a phone, or the Xperia line, which has the Pro apps, is that you can use Cinema Pro. Cinema Pro, I did use it yesterday a little bit, not that much, but when I did use it, all I had to do in Premiere Pro was convert it to, or interpret the footage as S-Log to, yeah, and it did, I guess, bring it up where you could then color grade if you want the image, but then I don't need to really. I don't know if this is an 8-bit recording, and if it is, then you don't want to move your colors around too much in Premiere or DaVinci. I did use DaVinci a little bit, as you saw with the BMP-CC 6K G2. It was on sale on B&H for $14.99, right? I thought it was a steal, but not for me. That is a camera much better suited for someone or a team or a crew that films static images or has gear following them wherever they go, right? And if that's the case, it's not for me, as you can see. I just walk and have a gimbal in my hands, and if the gimbal works, it works. The ferry is here, and people are boarding, as you can see. Nice view. Good morning. Yeah, the BMP-CC, I had to use the battery grip and 3 NP batteries, Sony NP batteries, I forget what it is, MP35s? Yeah, MP35s, I think, which is a universal battery type that I can use with other things, like the Axon CMO. So I don't mind getting a couple of NP batteries I can use something else. So I bought them used. I think they're new. I don't have any test equipment to test if they have been used or degraded, but they seem to work. And they're just sitting around doing nothing. Huh. Closer view. I guess if you live in Midtown or if you work in Midtown, it does take an hour. Well, maybe 45 minutes if you live if you work from 34th Street, 8th, First Avenue, around there. 34th Street, First Avenue. That's where this thing gets off, right? So if you work close by, it's good. But for me, I have to walk, as you see, walk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes on fast pace, just to get to the boarding site. And then again, I have to get off at 34th and First Ave and take the bus, the express bus that runs along 34th between the avenues, east to west or west to east. If the trains are not running for whatever particular reason, this is always a good option to use. Thank God for a day off. Watercolor is pretty good. yeah, the Video Pro app on this is great if you want to auto expose, auto ISO, and auto shutter, which is basically what you want. You don't want too fancy manual. I don't know. Well, I understand people that want you to learn manual, but for the work done, this involves manual is a headache. I used to do it before, constantly changing my aperture, constantly changing my shutter speed, ND filters. God, I hate those ND filters. Simplicity is divinity, as some people would say. Smart people would say. More complicated you get your equipment, the worse your experience. But someone's doing this as a hobby, I guess. This is okay the way I'm doing it. But the problem is not professionals. I don't know how professional you are. Manual just blows, especially if you want to put something on the gimbal and just capture the action, whatever is in front, whatever is on the side, the landscape, the people. Yeah, manual is not for me. Even in photography, you would just put this. Well, I would just put it in aperture, just control my aperture, and let everything else be controlled by the camera. But then again, I don't have to deal with white balance because I'm outputting wrong. With this, I did have to put in daylight. You're gonna put in daylight, 5600 Kelvin, and for night shots in the city, you want to put it at 35 or 4000 Kelvin, and you're golden. The problem is when you enter and exit buildings, then your white balance changes dramatically. Yeah, nice green waters on Monday. Very happy with the skin tones, I guess. Still a little bit too greenish yellowish, but you get used to it after using a Canon. When using the Cinema Pro, it's more distinctive. It's as you're using the Venice profile. I don't know, I never used a Venice camera, so I have no idea, but it does come out a tiny bit yellower than whatever this is. I do have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but the problem with that, straight off the bat, I thought it was a great camera system because when I was abroad in 2021, all I did was use that. And when I used that, it wasn't bad. But when I got back, in 21 I used the iPhone 14, the iPhone 13. Yes, the 13 Pro Max. And I used it as 1080p without HDR. And what that did, I do not know. It's not over sharpen the image, right? So, with the new iPhone 14 Pro Max, what I found out the main camera or at the wide angle over sharpens the image. Now, I did use it in daylight. I did not use it in the evening. I used it probably at 1 p.m. when the light was at its harshest, then it did come out very sharp. Yesterday I did use it again in same conditions. It did again come in sharp, but I did get the Insta 360 Flow yesterday as well from Best Buy. They had one available, it wasn't on sale, but I want to try it out. And when I used the Insta app, it was much better. The wide angle, the main lens, it was much better. Sharpening was at a minimum acceptable, I guess, on an iPhone. But the skies were blue, and I could see what I was seeing as I was filming on the screen. Now with this thing, you don't have to worry about over sharpening. Even with this harsh light, it doesn't over sharpen that hard. I'm still using the 16mm. And if you're, as I just noticed, front lit, the dynamic range is good enough for your face and the sky to light up. Right now, it's 11 o'clock and the sun is getting to the midpoint. So, we're gonna be lit up from the top. This is the worst part of walking to this park. This intersection right here. Who the hell created this? It is so bad, so convoluted, and people honking, cyclists going by, walk sign here, people not respecting. One time, I had a hole in my knee from an injury that I felt on the subway, right? And I had to walk slow. This was 5 days after I had the hole. Now, when I did walk into South, ran across, but over there I couldn't. And the guy starts talking. I'm like, what? What do you want me to do? It's my walk. You're in a car. And you want to go to Costco? And you want to move fast? To the parking lot? Jesus Christ. It is such a pain to shop at this place. Why is it so hard to shop at a Costco in New York City? Costco, just like Walmart, another big warehouse chains should not operate in New York City. It's not a place that this model works very well. I don't know what the profit margins are here, but the customer service experience that I have received here is poor. Quite poor. Maybe it works in Ohio, middle of West Bumble. You know what? New York City, not that much. One time, I was at the self-checkout a couple of months last year, and this lady bumps me with her shopping cart and starts yelling, "Move, move, move, move," and not even in English. When the grandson comes over and starts yelling at me, that guy was like 16, high school or something. Crazy. Yeah. So this is the craziness of Costco. Just like the subways here, it's not really managed very well. Yeah, at least it has a nice little walkway by the East River. Nice little breeze. I know you guys can feel it, but it's much cooler than the sun beating down on me, making me feel quite comfortable. Yeah, I could do this all day if I had to. 10 more minutes and the battery's down to 50%. So, there you have it. Yeah, I didn't realize this is the last year. The walkway actually connects to the park on the other side. I keep forgetting the name of the park. Yeah. This is not that important. You can always find it by looking for Costco in Astoria, Broadway. Nice day. Thank God for a day off. I would love to do this every few days of a week, plus the weekend, just sitting and relaxing. But those things don't pay the bills, and definitely not for these fun toys, right? Well, let me extend this a little bit. The tripod I'm using is the Oben CT-1000. I think sometimes it goes on sale for like $100 or so. It's carbon fiber, some parts of it anyway, and you can extend it just like this. Not a bad deal. Comes with an Arca Swiss mount. You can mount it to any light cameras. I was using it on the ZVE-10 for a couple of days before I switched over to the Zhiyun M2S. Look at that thing, just speeding by. Yeah, this is a nice little park with no features. Many features. It's just a plain park where you can do your regular barbecue and stuff, but it does have great views of the city. You know, look at the wash. There's the wash. There's a lovely wash. Yeah, this extending feet a little bit makes it a little bit easier to hold. And the system is light enough for me to do this all day. I carry the DJI RS3 Mini all day, 3 hours. The last time I was out in Brooklyn, using the R6, and that was fun. Got to see things that I haven't seen in the city before, like mazes. also I'm using the wireless DJI Rode 2, or Rode Wireless 2, not DJI. DJI has their own little thing. I looked at it, it looks pretty nice, but I already have this and I have way too many things to buy another mic system. I do love their pocket though. The pocket is very nice. So this is the optimal view. And I guess back where I came. I guess it was a little too harsh. I was thinking of returning this thing. Oh, look at that guy go. Very cool. Yeah, I was thinking of returning it because I can use the Camera Fi Stream app or Live app. I think Camera Fi Live. Yes, I could definitely use that with any Android, especially the cheap ones that T-Mobile just hands out for free. Well, not technically free, but almost free. You're locked in with that line for like 24 months, right? Or you can use the Xperia with any iPhone, but then you have to put in that NP battery. And it's another thing that you have to attach to the gimbal or set up because that's how iPhone works. It locks you to a system that only certain things can, or certain apps or app developers can use. Oh yeah, also, Camera Fi Live. That thing, I saw it on a review of it, and it was like, what, $8? But now it's $10, $10.99 or $10, whatever, $11 or $10 per month to use the app. So, since this phone does the thing for me, but the problem is that I won't be able to switch the batteries once the battery dies on this Xperia. I would have to send it in, and I have never dealt with Sony battery replacement programs, but I don't think it's any more friendlier than Apple, and Apple is not that friendly at all. And they'll charge you $70 to change your battery, but they won't allow you to change it yourself with a third party. And I bet the parts for these phones that Sony makes isn't as readily available as an iPhone. iPhone, you gotta give it to them. If there's a problem, the information is out there as to how to solve it or not solve it. If it's an issue you're gonna have. Now, see this traffic? Do you see this? Okay, so most of this traffic is caused by Costco. Now I can't cross. And if I wanted to cross, it's pretty hard to cross. Do it. Let's see if I can do it. Ooh, yes. That's an achievement. Achievement unlocked. As my peers would say. And if you had a broken foot, that crossing would be really hard to do. this is what a neighborhood in Astoria should be like. Quiet, nice, and classy. This is more of a warehouse type of a deal. As you can see, you got ivy going all over, which is nice. Very nice. Warehouse. But, you know, things change. Hopefully for the better. And hopefully this neighborhood is not affected too much by the economic slowdown that we are already experiencing at the moment. Well, let me switch over to the MTA. Now these guys have the, whatever, to charge us $3 while stuffing us as sardines inside a train. Then, I know this is not the conductor's fault. This is the MTA as a general. Conductors, drivers, operators, whatever you're gonna call them. They're just, the grunts. But then you have the, again, to tell me, please use all available doors. Please wait for the next available train, which is right behind us. Yeah. What do you mean by right behind us? Well, sometimes you'd get these guys telling you, they're 2 minutes behind. And if they're right, and if they're being honest, then okay, that's fine, right? But obviously, there's a train behind us. Obviously, unless there's a problem. You want me to get off a train that works? Not bored? Because you want me to trust you that the next train that comes is going to come in an orderly fashion and also conveniently not full with the same problems that I just faced with this train. No, I'm sorry, sir, but having been using the MPA for many, many years now, 10 years, I've come to realize is that these people that make the announcements really do not know what they're talking about. It's a problem. MTA is a big problem. Like for today, for example, if I wanted to go somewhere in the city, sure, the train is here, sometimes available, sometimes not available. I use the transit app, TRANSIT, I think it's green. I don't know, that's all I know. But that app usually tells me if there's a problem and what train or bus to take around me. And 80% of the time, the trains are under repair or they're not working at my station and I have to move to a different station. Last week, the whole line, the R line, the N line, all of them halted. Why? Repairs, track maintenance. Now, if I can't use it on the weekends, then what's the point? How can I go wherever I wanted to go on the weekend? But I had an option because I live in such a fancy neighborhood. I have Q100 or Q69. Q68 or Q69, one of those, which I can walk 2 blocks from me, grab, go to Queens Plaza, and catch the F train if that's working. Anyway, that's me ranting on the MTA.
And he was telling me about like the kind of like
and how it's gonna charge me $3 now for a single trip. All the things you deal in the city. It's not always fun and games. Anyway, guys, I guess I'm almost back from my little fun walk. Since the MPAs are not reliable, I can't really go anywhere. I don't want to spend 2 hours stuck in a train and then 2 hours back, hopefully using the same train. I'm taking a walk around my neighborhood. Hopefully you guys have a neighborhood that you can walk around in or see the sights.